Welcome back, students. So, in this session, we'll see the introduction to this C++ programming language. So, we already studied C language in your first sem, which was developed by Dennis Ritchie in the year 1972 at Bell Laboratories. That we already know. So, this C++ development also done at the Bell Laboratories only, but in the year 1979. And the scientist name over here, the developer name, you can see Berne Straustra. Okay, it is very difficult to pronounce, but you have to habituate that one. So, like C language we have different versions. We said we have a low level version of C language, middle level version of C language, as well as high level version of C language. In history of C, we discussed all those things, but here we'll not go into deep because that is not of our concern. We have to focus more on data structures. That's why we'll briefly discuss this C++ programming language. So it was developed by Berne Straustra in the year 1979, and it was also developed at Bell Laboratories only. Okay, where the development of C has been done, at that place only the development of C++ also been done. Okay. Yeah, here unlike your C programming language, C++ we are considering it as a middle level programming language because it not only supports the low level programming features but also it supports high level programming features. That is the reason why we are taking this C++ into the middle and we are calling it as a middle level programming language. And this C++, it can work on a variety of platforms like your Windows, your Mac, your Unix, different versions of Unix. Wherever you want the compiler, you can simply download the compiler and you can start writing the program code in C++. Okay, so it is statically typed. I think we have discussed what is mean by static typing in first year itself. So static typing is something data type will get the memory at the time of compilation rather than execution. So for every program we have two different versions. One is compilation and the other one is execution. So static typing is something where the data type will gain the memory at the time of compilation. When you compile the program at that point only the data type will get the memory. Okay, so yeah, we have like dynamic memory allocation concept. With the help of that dynamic memory allocation, we can make the memory allocation dynamic. Dynamic means at the time of run. Dynamic memory allocation functions we discussed in the first set in C. The same functions we are going to discuss here also, dynamic memory allocation function. Unless you insist, by default all memory allocations are static. Okay, you have to remember in that way. Unless you insist means unless you use dynamic memory allocation functions, all memory allocations will be static. Suppose if you are declaring a variable like integer a, let us assume that you are doing if you are taking a variable like int a. So over here, how many bytes of memory a will get means it is 4 bytes. So if you do like this in a general way, in a regular way, what will happen? Memory will be allocated statically. Static memory allocation. We call this mechanism as static memory allocation. So when this memory allocation will be done? At the time of compilation. When you compile the program, your program will get the memory. At the time of compilation, all static memory allocation variable will get the memory. But if you use dynamic memory allocation functions, we have dynamic memory allocation functions. Yeah, if you remember, we have three different functions. Okay, the first one, calloc, okay, contiguous memory allocation, malloc, memory allocation, and then reallocation. So if you use these functions or if you use these methods, your memory allocation will be dynamic. Okay, your variables will get the memory at the time of run. So all dynamic memory allocations will do the memory allocation at the time of execution of the program. Okay, these two things are very important. You have to remember: static memory allocation at the time of compilation, dynamic memory allocation at the time of execution. Static memory allocation, default, you need not to use any special functions. Like you are declaring int a, so your a variable will get 4 bytes of memory at the time of compilation by default. But if you use dynamic memory allocation functions, then what will happen? Your memory allocation will become dynamic. Dynamic means at the time of execution. Okay, so that is something statically typed and compiled. You need a compiler in order to execute, in order to get the output from your C++ program. You need a compiler. That's the reason why we are seeing compiled programming language. And general purpose, it can be used for any particular purpose in any kind of fields like agriculture, human health, medical. Okay, wherever you want, you can develop the application with the help of this C++ programming language. That's the reason why we are calling this programming language as general purpose. And case sensitive. Case sensitive means upper and lower case letters are different. So if you are declaring a variable int a and you are declaring another variable int capital A, these two variables are different variables. So in short, these two variables will gain different memory locations from your computer's memory. Okay, you have to understand what is case sensitivity. Uppercase and lowercase letters are different. Okay, and then it is you can write both procedural as well as object oriented programs using this C++ programming language. That's the reason why I said your C++ programming language will support lower level as well as higher level programming language features. So when we are saying lower level programming features, we are narrating the programs using procedural mechanism, structural mechanism. So when we are saying higher level programming features, we are writing the programs using object oriented development, object oriented mechanism. And it is generic programming. The term generic, very soon you are going to get quite familiar with this term. Okay, just remember, generic means not specific to any type. Okay, we have different types like integer, character, then we have float, double. Okay, we have different data types. So if you are declaring a particular variable in a specific data type, then that variable will become specific to that type only. You are declaring a variable a and you are storing a character value in that, it is something like an illegal operation, isn't it? So type, when you are making specific, we are calling it as a regular data type element. If type is not specific, then that will become a generic programming concept, a generic type. Okay, if type is not specific, we call it as generic type. Very soon you will understand with the help of example coding. Okay, then we have this C++ programming, they named it originally as C language with objects, classes and objects. C language with classes. Okay, originally they named it as C language with classes, but later in the year 1983 they renamed it as C++. So just what they are doing inside this C language, they are adding the concept of object oriented. Okay, they are adding the object oriented concepts and they are calling it as C++. You have to understand that one. C++ was originally named as C language with classes, but later it was renamed to C++. So just whatever basics we have in C, we are going to inherit, we are going to take all those features, all those programming constructs in C++ as well. And what extra thing we are adding in the sense, this classes and objects concept, object oriented concepts we are adding as an extra thing. Okay. Here you can understand that one. C++ is the superset of your C language, because we are inheriting all the properties from C and we are developing a new language by adding the classes concept. We are calling C++ as superset to the C language. So if you want me to explain that thing graphically more clearly for your understanding. So whatever features we have inside C language, we are taking all those features. We are taking all those features. This is C language, and on top of this C language, what we are doing? We are adding the concept of classes. Classes, that is nothing but your object-oriented concepts. Object-oriented concepts. And we are calling this new language as C++ programming language. C++ programming language. That is what. So we have C language and we are adding the concept of classes, that is nothing but object oriented concepts, and we are calling this new language as C++ programming language. So these are some of the differences. These are some of the differences between C and C++ programming language. So we are quite familiar with this first point. C follows the procedural approach. Procedural approach is nothing but we write all the programs in terms of functions. Okay, when we start writing the first C program, in that we mentioned the main function, because without main it is highly impossible to write the C program. Okay, without main it is highly impossible to write the C program. That main is nothing but your function. So we are using functions in C programming. That is the reason why we are calling the C programs as structural programming language or object oriented structural programming language, where we use only functions. But whereas the C++, it is not necessary that you have to follow that structural approach or procedural approach. You can even use another designing paradigm, that is object oriented designing paradigm. It also supports, you can see C++ is a multi-paradigm programming language. It do support structural programming as well as object oriented approach. Okay, in C, because we are not using any access specifiers or any data modifiers. What are these access specifiers and what are these data modifiers? Very soon you will come to know. Because we are not using those two things, access specifiers and data modifiers, data is less secure in C. And in C++, we are going to use those things, access specifiers and data modifiers. That is the reason why the data is more secure in C++. Data is nothing but whatever content you are storing inside the variables. That content only we call it as data. You have to understand this thing. Whenever I am saying data, we are going to declare a variable and we are going to store some value into it. We are talking about that value only. Data is nothing but whatever value you are storing into that variable. Okay, so if you are storing the values inside variables in C programming, they are less secure. That means anybody can easily hack and easily get that value. But whereas if you store that same data inside these C++ variables, they are more secure, because we are using access modifiers and data modifiers and access specifiers. And in C, we follow the top-down approach. We start at the top and we end at the bottom. Whenever you are writing the program, we first write the main function, then we write the user-defined functions. Whatever functions we are calling from the main, we write the definition for those functions after the main function. Okay, that is the reason why we said C language is top-down approach programming language. But whereas C++, it is bottom-up approach. First we define the classes, then we use those classes in our coding. That is the reason why we call it as bottom-up approach. Okay, C follows top-down approach, C++ follows bottom-up approach. Okay, then there is a concept called function over. These are, many new terms I am going to use over here which are not familiar to you, because this thing when we are discussing in your examination point of view. If I give the differences only 1 or 2, you will remember those 1 or 2 only and you will write the same in your examination. So that is the reason why whatever differences we have between C and C++, even though you are not familiar with these special terms, we need to discuss all those things here itself. Okay, we said C follows top-down approach and C++ follows bottom-up approach. Then we have C does not support function overloading, because we never discussed that function overloading concept in C. But whereas in C++, we are going to discuss what is function overloading. Okay, then we discussed structures concept in C. So inside a structure, we cannot put a function. In that way, we discussed over there. We have functions, we have structures. We cannot nest a function inside a structure. But whereas nesting of functions inside structures, it is possible in C++. You can even write a function inside a structure. Okay, that special type of structure only we call it as a class. Okay, what is a class? What is an object? In our next class, hopefully, we will discuss everything in detail. Okay, so the concept of reference variables, it is not there. Reference variables are nothing but your objects. Okay, those objects concept, it is not there in C because we never used objects in C. Whereas in C++, reference variables, we have full support to reference variables, and we write almost all the programs in terms of reference variables only. Okay, then in order to read and in order to print the output on the output screen, we use like printf, scanf functions in C programming. But whereas here we have cin, cout, special types of objects. We are going to use objects. With the help of those objects only, we will perform data input and data output over there. Okay, then different types of operators we discussed, like arithmetic operators, relational operators, logical operators, bitwise operators. All these operators we discussed in C programming. So we have a specific functionality. Suppose we have addition operator. Inside arithmetic operator we have addition. So what symbol we use in order to perform this addition? This plus sign. We use plus sign in order to perform the addition of two numbers. So that is the functionality. What it will do, suppose if you have a plus b, where a's content is some 20 and b's content is some 30, and you are performing a plus b. So what it will do, what this plus sign will do over here, what this plus operator will do over here, it will add the content of b to a and it will print the result, isn't it? So you will get value 50 as the output of this expression. Okay, value 50 as the output. So that is the functionality, the addition functionality this plus sign will perform. So yeah, using this operator overloading, what we can do means we can override the functionality, override the basic functionality of operators like plus. Not only for addition, you can also use this plus as for concatenation. So concatenation means joining two strings together. Suppose if you have ISL, one string as ISL str1, I'm just declaring randomly, don't go with types and all, I'm declaring randomly. Then we have string2 engineering. So just to explain what is concatenation, I am taking this this two strings example. So if you add these two strings, str1 plus str2, and if you write the suitable code for this plus sign, what this plus sign will do? This plus sign will concatenate these two strings together. This plus sign will join these two strings together. So as an output, what you will get? ISL without any space, engineering. ISL engineering. Like this you will get. This kind of operation is concatenation. Okay, this type of operation is concatenation and this operation is addition. So you can override the basic functionality of an operator using this operator overloading concept. Operator overloading means what we are doing? We are overriding the functionality of a basic operator. Okay, so then we have we are dividing our C program into procedures and modules. Procedures and modules are nothing but your functions only. Okay, just we are using different terminology over here. Your procedures are nothing but your functions, your modules are nothing but your functions. Okay, we are dividing the complete C program into different functions. But whereas we are dividing C programs, C++ programs in functions as well as classes. We are going to have this special data type class. Okay, that very soon we will discuss. Okay. Yeah, this name spacing, what is name spacing, very soon we will understand. Yeah, this name spacing mechanism, it is not supported by C, but whereas it is supported by C++. Okay, that also we will see. And we have some advanced concept like exception handling, okay, which was not possible, we cannot achieve in C, but whereas in C++ we have the concept of exception handling, and with the help of this exception handling, how we can overcome the errors, how we can overcome the exceptions, all those things we will see. Okay, inshallah, in tomorrow's class I'll be starting the object oriented principles, object oriented concepts that we will see in tomorrow's class. Thank you very much.